Welcome back. As we earlier said, that U.S. President Joe Biden heads to Saudi Arabia on Friday as part of his first Middle East trip, and he's going with a list of goals, as we know, including energy security, advancing truce in Yemen, and establishing a more cohesive regional front against Iran. We're very delighted to be having with us here live in the studio Dr. Abdel, our political analyst. Good morning, Dr. Amr.
Good morning to you.
How are you doing?
Fine, thank you.
Let's first talk about the importance of U.S. President's visit to the Middle East in general at this time. The timing is very important.
Of course. The time we are talking about here Egypt and the Arabs among two directions and facing pressures from the East and the West at the same time. At the very moment, Cairo is leading the Arabic situation towards a united situation, a united world, a united front towards or confronting any pressures, whether from the East or the West. Because we have long way past the time that we follow other powers in the world, and it's time to establish a new Arabic world with solidarity and stability of how to take the courses and the decisions. The crucial decision here is to be taken is to maintain our independence of our decision and face the greeds and the pressures, especially from the U.S. and the Zionist existence, to push us towards what's so-called an alliance against another vicious power, which is Iran. There is no difference between Iran and Turkey and the Zionist existence. They are the same race. They are all Ashkenaz in the first place. And the United States are trying to push us towards an alliance against Iran. Well, who brought up the regime in Iran? It was the U.S.
Of course.
From the 70s. So we believe, of course we know, that we have common interests with the U.S. and the West, but we are taking the very hard line between being followers and being aggressive at this very moment. We are trying to be peaceful, showing good intents, good intentions towards the U.S. And at the very same time, we are trying to maintain our independence of our decision to take.
Right, and to everybody, we have been like that ever since President Abdel al-Sisi's tenure.
Exactly.
Attaining soft diplomacy.
Exactly. We have started this era since
this is our promise
the revolution
to
of June 30.
Exactly. The first stop is Saudi Arabia. It is part of his first, the leg in his tour. So how important is, or what is your expectations? What are your expectations over his visit to Saudi Arabia?
It was an expected visit. Sometimes we heard that they are calling off this visit, but finally he came. Along with what they have told him to say and to expect. He is a very weak president, maybe the weakest president, and it was meant to be the weakest president at this very time. On the other hand, King Salman and his era are in a solid and a strong situation, supported by Egypt and the President Abdel al-Sisi. We have managed to show Arabs, all the Arabs, the way towards this hard but correct path, which is an independent path towards relations with the East and the West. From this aspect, we are, as Saudi Arabia, we are now receiving Mr. Biden. And he shouldn't expect that we're going to give him anything he wants. But also at the same time, we can reach this basic, this common interest ground, as it was built, our mutual understanding and mutual best interests, not on the account of our Arabic security, national security.
Right. Like we said, he came with a list of goals, including energy security, advancing the truce in Yemen, and we're going to be touching on that later on, establishing a more cohesive regional front against Iran, like you earlier said. Let's talk about his goals, or assess the goals of the U.S. inside the Middle East currently.
Well, the ultimate goal for the U.S. administration is to surrender the whole area, the whole territory to Israel and Turkey, with the cooperation of the hidden part of this alliance of Iran. This is the ultimate goal, of course. And we have realized this. We hear Egypt, we know it from the very beginning, but now an additional circumstance, the Arabs, especially in the four alliance in Jordan and Saudi Arabia and Bahrain and Emirates, have realized the same concept. We should face and confront the greeds of the West in our territory, especially that we have strengthened our own military forces, our own economies, and we have reached that common understanding that we should stand side by side towards those greeds. And that's what Mr. Biden is going to face in Riyadh, or in Dubai, or in Cairo, or in any other, or in Jordan, any other Arabic capital. He shouldn't expect much. He shouldn't aim high. He shouldn't believe that he's going to get what he wants eventually. On the other hand, we have specific points. We need for the whole world to know that the Arabs today is not like the Arabs at any other time on the past century. This is what the U.S. is going to realize today.
Exactly. Expected topics to be tackled during the visit?
Of course, they are seeking the file of...
of course, the nuclear file of Iran.
It is the first, of course, which is attached with the what they call it the safe Zionist existence, the safety of Zionist existence, and of course for the Saudi Arabia and other Gulf countries to increase their producing oil, which is not also going to be an easy target to achieve, because we have other relations with the other part in this world, which is Russia. We have our own, and above Russia and above the US, we have our own best interests in dealing with this issue of oil and the trade of oil, and how much we should produce and how much we should export. This is the main files are going to be just tackling against each other's. And I believe that Mr. Biden is going to find it so hard when he comes back. He will find it was so hard for him to reach what he was hoping to.
Right. Mr. Biden was hit with tough U.S. economic news as he arrived in Israel. There is surging prices for gas, food, the rent, pushed U.S. inflation to a new four-decade high in June of 9.1%. The government reported rising consumer prices are among factors contributing to Biden's low public approval at home. How do you read that?
I believe that the U.S. administration is pushing the people there to pay for its mistakes. The administration of the U.S. has taken the wrong course towards the Ukrainian crisis. They have dealt with Russia as an enemy even before anything happens, and they have handled the situation on the most vicious way. They have the U.S. administration. They have moved their army from Afghanistan to bases in Central Asia, all around Russia, and they have threatened the national security of Moscow. What would Russia would do to protect its own national security? Of course, it has taken the decision and launched the operation in Ukraine to protect its own security. On the other hand, the punishments and the sanctions against
on Iran?
No, I'm talking about the sanctions. The American sanctions against Russia has fired back toward the West, the Western countries, and the U.S. people. They have paid the price for the wrong way the U.S. and the West dealt with the issue.
The wrong decision at that time, but also
Russia.
The sanctions. He is always calling, and their stance from Iran compared to a blame over Russia that it is attacking Ukraine. It draws questions. I mean, you are talking about your own national security and the establishment of nuclear arms and everything on a country at totally another continent, but at the same time you are detaining Russia because they are attacking, exactly. They are protecting their own.
I would like to mention here that the Iranian file is very vague. The nuclear deal is just as it was cooked in somewhere dark. We don't ever know that how this deal will be reached, and is it really the U.S. and the West seeks sanctions against Iran? On the opposite has happened. I believe that the nuclear Iran is more powerful and stronger right now. As if they are pushing it towards more increasing of the nuclear program and expanding it, as if they are giving them the red signs from above and the green signs from behind. I believe that the whole powers are just trying to surround the Arabic East. The Arabic East is the target right now. From Iran, from Turkey, from this Zionist existence, and of course the US and NATO. They are trying to, now they have reached the limit, the most of they have expected from our own treasures, of our own oils, our own gold. Now they are seeking to have us all as a backup army in the fight against Russia and their new world order, what they call it. It's time for us as Arabs to stand together as one nation, one power. If you are not one nation, at least we can stand together as one power. Towards those greeds, we must realize that Iran is Turkey. Turkey is the Zionist existence, and the whole three are just claws of the greater powers in the West.
Right. Talking about the Middle East file, which is in Jerusalem, which is mainly on top of it is Jerusalem. He said he will emphasize in talks with Israel and Palestinian leaders, of course, leader Mahmoud Abbas, his continued support for the two-state solution to the Palestinian cause. But then he acknowledged likely that it is not in the near future. He said this is not going to be in my file for the near future. How do you read that?
The same bad symphony where we've been listening to for the past 5 or 6 decades. I believe that the land of the Arabic land, the Arabic occupied land by the Zionist existence will never be freed except with power, with force. But of course, this has time. Not now, maybe. Not in the near future, maybe.
When time comes.
When time comes.
Right.
As we are talking diplomacy, they can give us what they want to give of oppositions, propositions, whatever. We can only stand up to our rights in these lands. And this is what we are now doing here in Egypt, and gathering the Arabs against us in one situation toward the occupied Arabic lands.
He is heading to, of course, as we said, to Saudi's port city of Jeddah on Friday, which is today, to meet King Salman and Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. What is your expectations that the major topics on the table to be unfolded as soon as he arrives?
Oil, Iran, the Zionist existence. Those are the 3 most important topics, and it's all connected. On separately, we can discuss the file of oil, and of course, the U.S. is pushing it all the way on the Arabic region, on the of course, especially the Gulf countries, to, as I said, to increase the production.
He said, he posted on an official statement on his Twitter account that hours before his arrival in the Saudi Arabia, that he's expecting, or he talked about the announcement opening to Saudi Arabia's airspace to all airlines as of today. And the Saudi General Authority of Civil Aviation said it has decided to open its airspace to all carriers that meets requirements for overflights, lifting all restrictions on direct Israeli flights from and to Israel and Saudi Arabia.
Well, this is another logistic file. We can move towards some steps.
You said that it's a step towards a more stable Middle East and a secure one.
Not just a stable Middle East. They want to neutralize our relations with the Zionist existence. And we can do this on limits. And only if they show good intentions too at the same time. You see what I mean? We can never get back to the time when we gave it all for nothing. We're not going to do this anymore. If they want from us a step, they should give us 2 steps.
A win-win situation.
Yes, it's a win-win situation. Nothing else.
As 2 great economic powers, how do you expect both leaders would tackle the Russian-Ukraine war repercussions? I mean, Saudi Arabia and Joe Biden.
Here is where is interests call the interests. Only interests will speak on the table. We have, as Egypt, as Saudi Arabia, as Emirates, we have interests and relations, good relations with Russia, as well as the West. I'm talking economically. So you cannot just come and tell us how to run our policies and how to run our economies.
Our priorities also.
Our priorities, of course.
Our priorities goes according to our best interests,
exactly.
not to others' interests.
And we have interests with both sides. You cannot just forbid us from dealing with other powers that we have interests from our relation with. It goes without saying.
President Biden is going also to attend the Gulf Cooperation Council, where Iran's nuclear program is going to be put over the negotiating table, and will be included, of course, on the agenda of negotiation. To what extent would the gathering of the GCC Council, will they unify actions towards Iran's nuclear program from your own point of view? Will they take a different stance? What is expected to happen in the presence of Joe Biden?
Let me be direct with you. On this meeting, on this summit, the U.S. seeking to have their dream about making an Arabic NATO, which is refused totally by the administration in Cairo, and of course with our friends. And whomever have soft feelings toward such a vicious idea, we can contain it. In Egypt, we are the main obstacle, and we are the strongest power in the East. And this can only happen when there is no Egypt exists.
Right. Do you think this is could be one of the main reasons for the visit at this time?
Of course. It's the strategic goal or target of this visit. The most.
Do you think they have different plans, like Plan B, like if Plan A doesn't work, Plan B is going to work? I mean, economic deals, or
there is no. It's okay with our economic deals between Arabs and the Zionist existence and other powers in the world. It's okay with us. We don't feel any wrong with it at this period of time. But we're talking now here. They are trying to put the military side, which is not going to happen. Never.
How do you expect the Arab stance to be? I mean, the GCC Council itself.
When Arabs speak, when Arab takes a stand, Egypt is going to be on the lead, even if it was the summit of the Gulf countries.
Egyptian desire.
Of course, even if they have some countries, I don't want to name it, they have to just find some just would agree to this. We will never allow them to make it happen. Which, whether on the some Arabic countries or the U.S. and the Zionist existence.
Right. Dr. Amr Abdel, you are our political analyst. We'd like to thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
And you have a beautiful day. And we're going to go to a short break, and we'll come to continue the breakfast show, so stay with us.